take this leap of faith and just launch out into an unknown world. Like, how do you even do that?
It was all good to be with my people, but it was getting stale. And I knew in myself, I don't know why, but I knew the next part of the journey was about myself.
Know that you feel that winds of change when they start to blow. It is undeniable. You may not know exactly what it is. You're not meant to, because you're going to grow through it, but and it's not even something you can explain to anyone. It's an internal feeling. It's an internal understanding.
It's pushing me. I don't know. The universe is pushing me. So I'm going to get way more out of this. Being put in the unknown, in the uncomfortable of the unknown, to help expand myself and to help expand my consciousness. And then through that, the beauty of it is through that, you become a light to others, right? I said, well, I keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm not happy. This isn't happy. So I need to look in the mirror. So that night, man, cried. And then I said, man, dude, I don't know how we can help, but it's funny, the universe, the way it works.
It is like this process of shattering everything, and then rebuild.
What advice could you give people who are maybe stuck in that place?
I think as basic as developing the capacity.
Welcome to the Sleeping Lotus podcast, the sacred space where we explore the human spirit's true potential and awaken to our soul remembrance one petal at a time. Whether you're wide awake, half asleep, or somewhere in between, this is a circle where nothing is too mystical, too messy, or too much. Each week, we'll gather around the stories that shaped us, the breakdowns and the breakthroughs that opened us up to divine moments that helped us remember who we really are. We'll be joined by guests who've lived through the darkness and found the sacred woven within it. This isn't just a podcast. It's a remembering, a return, a place to rest and awaken. So pour some tea, light a candle, or just breathe with us. Let the lotus within you open in its own time, in its own way. So thank you for tuning in, and let's begin. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of the Sleeping Lotus podcast. I'm Laura Jean.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we are here with some good friends and now world travelers, Dani and Dani Moore. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hola.
Hey.
Hola from Uruguay.
From where? Where are you guys?
Uruguay.
Mm.
How you say it?
Uruguay.
What do you say?
Uruguay.
Okay.
That's exciting. Very exciting. So before we talk about the countries, I'm really curious about how you guys went from living in New Jersey. Dani, you're a therapist. Dani, you're retired from where again?
Corrections. I was a corrections officer in state of New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you go from there to giving up everything that you have and traveling the world?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Well, for me, this has been an idea for a long time, and I thought it would just be just an idea. And I had talked about it. I think it's something that excited me. I love traveling. He does love traveling, and we do travel a lot. Well, we did. Now we really do. And I think as I kept talking about it one time last year, was it last year? That we went to Spain?
April, yeah.
Yeah, last year we went to Spain and we really enjoyed it, and something clicked for Tommy, and I will let him share that. But when we came back, he said, okay, I can see us do that. And I'm like, do what? And he's like, just sell everything and just travel the world. And I'm like, wait, do not say anything if you don't mean it, because I'm going to drop everything and start planning this thing, right? He was like, no, I can see us do that and doing that and so on. And then kind of one thing led to another. And of course, at the time, we still had our dog and we knew we weren't going to do anything for as long as he lived. And he passed away at this point. It's been a year. And that's when we decided, okay, no more puppies. We're gonna take this idea seriously and take the steps. And nutshell, that's kind of
Mm.
how it ended up happening.
Yeah. And for me, so I wasn't on board like 5 years ago or 7 years ago, but coming up to my retirement, we're traveling a lot. We're going down south. So we were going down to Florida during COVID and all that because I was getting ready to retire. Went to the Carolinas. And then Florida after COVID got so expensive because I really did like the
Mm.
Tampa area of Florida, Sarasota, all that area. So I really
Mhm.
liked that. But then like prices, house prices doubled. Then we did love Charleston, South Carolina. And the US is so polarizing. During COVID, a lot of just very stressful time. And we went to Spain last year and we travel a lot. And we'd go to different countries and like we're in these other countries and you see people are much healthier. They're not as big as the US. Um, the food isn't poisoned like it is in the US. And after Spain, I was like, man, this country, we were in Barcelona, Madrid. Madrid's like a small Manhattan, and there's no out of bounds. You can go anywheres, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's safe. I
Mhm.
mean,
Mm.
yeah, petty crime, pickpockets, you know what I mean? But no really crazy stuff.
Mhm.
And and then it didn't seem polarizing. I come back to the US, and it's just, man, there's so much polarization here, just so many fractions fighting against each other. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go, man. Let's just
Mm.
go. Let's just see where it takes us, And then
Mhm.
of course there's more reasons too. Like I said, it's for personal growth too. Like, comfort. You don't grow a whole lot in comfort. I mean, you can grow in comfort, but you're definitely gonna be a snail's pace. So if you put yourself in the unknown, and we gave up the known for the unknown.
Mm.
Um, but we do have the comfort too, of course, if we ever need to come back home to the US, we can come back and we're okay. Or buy a house somewhere else, we're okay. So
Mhm.
we have that comfort. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, let's go. And
Mhm.
she was, of course, on board.
Yeah.
And
Right away.
yeah,
Not even a
and then
second thought.
after our puppy passed away, that was when we knuckled down to really
Yeah.
try to set a date because we had been telling our friends for a while that we're moving down south. This is, but we're still looking, but and our friends were probably like, whatever, man, you're never going to leave. And then we told them this, and they're like, oh, that's a bold move, but like, in their minds, they're probably like, yeah, they're not gone. And then
And
we
then
set a timeline, and of course, we made the timeline, and here we are in Uruguay now. So
mhm.
this is our second country. The first country was
And
Brazil.
about to be on a third in
Yeah.
less than a week. Well,
Yeah, yeah. Saturday we'll be in Argentina. Yeah, so
yeah.
Wow.
And I just
So,
want to add a little bit to like because I moved to the US from Brazil, right? I was 24 years old when I moved. I left. So I've done it once by myself. So I knew it wasn't any scary move to do it with my partner, right? Like it's like I can go anywhere with Tommy. And um my first time around, like I was all by myself. Those were really rough times. Like talk about awakening, right? Like really finding out who you are, what you're made of. So this time around, I'm like excited. I'm not scared. While the other time, I was both. There was a mixture of fear and excitement for sure.
mm.
So that had to be kind of good for you, Tommy, to have someone who'd already kind of done this and had that experience, and she could kind of support you a bit through any of that anxiety that's coming up of, leaving your home country for the
yeah.
first time and for such a long amount of time.
Yeah, no, so if it wasn't for her, I want to do this. Or if I did do this, I would be going to English speaking countries because the challenge,
Mm.
I mean, honestly, like I wasn't nervous. Even coming up to the end of it, it was stressful at home,
Mhm.
because we were selling all our stuff
Mhm.
and then we were hanging out with friends a lot and like it was way out of balance, man. But it was okay because it was temporary and I knew it was temporary, so she knew it was
Yeah.
temporary. Very stressful. It was a relief. Once we had sold everything, we stayed at a friend's house the night before we left. And actually, we spent one night at Johnny's or two.
What?
Yeah,
Two.
two nights at a friend's house. But after we sold everything and got to that part, it was kind of a relief that everything was kind of already done because we had cars to sell. We had
Mhm. So
we had everything to
much.
get rid of, right? So then once we got on our way,
Can't
I
imagine.
wasn't I, wa- I wasn't nervous. I'm still not nervous. I'm still super comfortable with it. But because I'm in countries like if I was by myself here, it would be stressful, extremely stressful. but she makes it easy for me because she speaks Portuguese and Spanish. So it's pretty simple. I mean, the days when she works, Mondays and Tuesdays, for me, I'm out and about, and like I still go to cafes and get stuff, but like hablo inglés, and like the most time it's like, and I'm like, no hablo español, and I'll be like, flat white or whatever if I'm at a cafe. So we get by, but like, it's awkward sometimes. The awkward silence, like they look at you, you look at them. So,
Mhm.
but it's okay. But yeah, without her though, I would I would be if I traveled, I'd be in English speaking countries for sure.
Mm,
But so
mm.
far, like obviously I'm biased with Brazil. Like people are so friendly and willing to help. What we have found here in Uruguay, same. Like they're
People are nice there.
they're willing to go out of their way like 3 times to try to get an understanding of you and get you what you need and feel comfortable. So no struggles in terms of like feeling, I guess, don't know if I'm using the word in the right context, but like segregated, right? Like
Yeah, no.
we've been very have felt very welcomed here too. Of course, Brazil because it's my home country, but here.
Mhm.
Yeah, very much. People are very friendly here.
Hmm.
People are super chill here. Like really, we're in the capital city and like it's super safe here too, man. Like they say it's the safest country in South America, Uruguay. But you can walk around. I mean, we seen a girl probably in her early 20s at 11 o'clock at night walking down back roads with headphones on.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
that says it all. And then I'm assuming Uruguayan, right? So like, because we don't run into a lot of tourists here, although there is tourists here, obviously, but like it's, Montevideo is a really chill place compared to like Buenos Aires.
Hmm.
But the people have been great, man. People are super chill. People, they don't care, man. They drink their mate and marijuana's legal here, so they smoke their marijuana, and it really makes them chill, man. But there's really great people, really good people here.
So
That's good.
now, how many months have you been doing this?
We're starting our third month
Yeah,
next
this
week.
is
Oh, in 2 weeks.
yeah,
Yeah, on the first.
yeah, the first, yeah.
January 1st, we'll start our third month, and then we'll be in our third country.
Wow. So is that your goal? A country a month?
It depends. Argentina will probably be there close to 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're going to different regions, that's
Yeah.
why. So like, but in Buenos Aires, we're going to be there for quite a while,
Yeah.
like 33 days, and then the other regions, Patagonia is cold, so the glaciers are down there
1 week.
1 week, yeah.
1 week in the cold.
And, and head back to Mendoza, the wine country,
Yeah.
and they say it's really chill because Buenos Aires is, the city, man, it's hustle and bustle. They say Mendoza is very chill, a lot
Hmm.
of Malbec wines. It's where your Malbec wines come from, and from what I hear, fantastic wine. So we look forward to that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And we're using like this timeline because we want to do slow travel for a couple different reasons. One, it gets exhausting packing and unpacking, packing and unpacking so frequently. And two, I work. So if we're in a place for just a week or two, and I'm gonna have to take off work, or I won't have time to enjoy or explore the place we're visiting. So a month, 3 weeks to 4 weeks is like the minimum we're looking at.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is comfortable for
Yeah.
us. Like here, we were in this Airbnb for
A month.
pretty much a month, and in reality, Montevideo, you don't need a whole month in Montevideo. But with that being said, it gives us time for Danny to work on her YouTube videos, plus work, plus we can take our time and explore. Like, we don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
have to rush because if we were moving every week or every 2 weeks, it's way too much to get acclimated.
Yeah.
By the time you learn something a little bit where you're at, it's time to go again. Like right now, we can go out of the city and I don't need my GPS. I mean, if I'm
Yeah.
going to a specific cafe or something I've never been to, I use my GPS to get there. But
But we're
like,
pretty familiar with
yeah,
the
yeah, we know
area.
the area. Like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice,
I
yeah.
know,
And
so
I think too, like I think the biggest benefit of having such a slow rhythm here is we got to connect with another couple. They're locals from here. And we hung out with them several times, and they've been lovely. They've introduced us to the mate culture, um, invited us to their apartment. We've hung out with them, went out to eat with them. So,
gave us a Uruguayan flag.
yeah.
They gave
Oh,
us a
nice.
flag.
Aw.
Mhm. Yeah.
They treated us to dinner the one night. I mean,
Oh,
I mean,
nice people.
and if we're like rushing, like having a tight schedule, we don't get these experiences. And
right.
for us, like the connections that we make along the way are
Oh,
important and priceless. And I think we got to have this so nicely and so lovingly here. I wouldn't trade it, even though like we didn't need a month to explore Montevideo, but
yeah, but it's
I
good.
wouldn't trade that.
And it's good too. Like we have time to relax.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if you think like every week or two we're going somewhere else and we're just rushing through everything,
Yeah.
like really
Yeah.
enjoying it. We
Right.
Right.
just
Yeah.
want to and film everything. Like you're not really enjoying it, man. So like it's nice to have days. It's like, man, you
Yeah.
know what, dude? Today's just a chill day.
Right.
Let's go back and just hang out. You know what I
Right.
mean? Nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Do that
That's
because
the best way to do it because you're getting to enjoy it at your pace,
yeah,
and traveling takes a lot out of you.
it takes a
Oh,
lot out of
Really
you for
does.
sure.
And the preparation and the mindset and, the different scheduling and all of that. Yeah. So I think you're doing it the right way, giving yourself the space to breathe and really enjoy it. And obviously you like it there or you wouldn't be there. So
yeah.
I
And
want
that's
to,
the beauty, and that's the beauty of it too. If there's a place that we're not really connecting with, we can leave at any time.
right.
We're
Yeah,
not stuck
you
in
can leave
paper.
and no hard feelings. Now, how are you traveling? Do you have a car or do you local just walk? How are you
Yeah,
getting
Public transportation,
public
yeah.
transportation? Okay.
It's
Uber sometimes.
Okay.
so here it's really, I mean, we're in a perfect area here.
Hmm.
So I mean, there are places that we could Uber to or take public transportation. We were going to take public transportation here, but we haven't used it. We
Mm,
haven't really needed it,
Yeah.
honestly. And the Uber rides have been relatively really inexpensive here. So anytime we got to go, maybe a 30-minute car ride or 20-minute car ride, we just Uber because it's really inexpensive here for us. So we've been doing that, but a lot of things are just in walking. So like we've been averaging
wow.
really at least 6 miles a day walking, which is good and it's
So you're
healthy.
getting exercise too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And plus, I joined a gym. Everywhere I go, I join a gym.
Yep.
So my gym here is awesome. The gym I was in when we were in
And
Rio,
Rio was not,
oh God, my
it's
gym was
just
so bad.
tight and
It was
small and
it was it
busy.
was
Mm,
terrible.
There
But
was one
so
of the videos that I watched that had a really cool gym outside on the beach.
And that was
yeah,
in
that was
Rio.
in Rio. Yeah, yeah.
Rio,
okay.
yep.
With
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
concrete weights.
Yeah.
Rio de Janeiro
It's
is
awesome.
amazing.
Hmm.
Like it's a place I wish actually we spent more time there.
Hmm.
I could have stayed there another month, honestly, and
Mm,
super cool. And if you're coming from the US and you using US dollars, the money goes really far.
Yeah.
Uruguay is the most expensive country in South America. So the money here, some things are really inexpensive, but then some things like sometimes if I get a pint of beer somewheres at say crafted beer, it might cost me 720 US dollars, which is more than a home.
wow.
Um, but then again, on the flip side of that, we'll go have a steak dinner that came with dessert and we got a bottle of wine and we spent $65.
For both of us.
So
Yeah.
like,
You're
you know what
not
I
going
mean?
to
So,
get
like,
that here.
no,
Yeah.
No.
no. So like all in all, it's cheaper here, but there's a couple of things it's like, geez, that's like they had promos like
It's my favorite word. It's my favorite
yeah,
word. Where's the promo?
it's like a happy hour.
Happy hour.
So they were doing two gin and tonics for pretty
10
much
bucks.
10 US dollars,
Yeah.
400
Okay.
pesos. So
Or Aperol
it ended up
spritz.
down paying $7 for a beer. You know what I mean? It's like at home that just
Right.
doesn't, you know.
Well,
But all in all, it's still affordable for somebody from the United States to come down here.
And in
mm,
Rio,
Very much.
we were joking because statistically speaking, only 5% of Brazilians speak English. It is one of the countries that most teach English, but it's the one that least speak it in comparison, like how much
hmm,
it teaches, right? And uh, we were joking because at least 4% live in Rio because Rio, a lot of people spoke English.
Quite a few, yeah.
So it wasn't as challenging for Tommy to navigate the language barrier.
Yeah, here
Okay.
it's a little more challenging, but I mean there's people to speak here, but then there's quite a few that they don't. And then even in Rio, like when I'd be like eu falo no eu falo or no eu não falo Portuguese. That's what I don't speak Portuguese and follow English, and then they'll be like or sometimes they just look at me, and I'm like, man, I know I said it right. And I think well, it wasn't in Rio though. It was in
In
Passos.
Passos, where I
So
come from.
where she comes from, they don't really have tourists go there because it's not a place tourists would go. So like I think just me saying that just throws them off and they like freeze. And I'm standing there like, what's up?
It's a glitch in the matrix. It's
Like,
like, what is going on?
and then I got to say, "Eu não falo Portuguese, and do you speak English?" And then then finally computes, and they're like, "Wow." It's bizarre, man. I mean, but it's super awkward because they just stare at me.
Well, the one girl at the supermarket, she said, she was like, I thought you were messing with me. Like, and he's like, no, I don't speak the language.
And thank God she did speak English, but she just gave me this blank stare. And I was like, man, it was awkward, but then it was a blessing though, because I got because my credit card didn't work, right? So, and I'm by myself. So I'm like, oh God, I can't talk to these people. So, and it was the one girl that she spoke English. She actually spoke English. I mean, a little broken, but she spoke English and like,
Yeah,
it was great. So I actually went back there like a week later and I was with everybody, I was with her and her brother and stuff. And I saw the girl, she was working. So I went over and said hi to her. And like, she was like, ah,
yeah.
like they're interested. They're interested,
Mhm.
like, especially from like
Yeah.
where she's from. Even people at the gym, like people are interested in you. They don't really see foreigners, man, where they're from. A lot of people that live where she's from, it's like in the middle of the country, a lot of them people live their whole life there. They don't really,
Go outside, yeah.
and it's harder. Their money don't go very far, and even for living in Brazil, it's a tough life, you know.
Mm.
So like a lot of people are just stuck. So they hear about, obviously the U.S. has been known in the whole entire world because of the movies and music and all that. But like, oh, you're from the U.S. And they're actually interested where, in the United States, not saying everywhere, not to generalize, but you go to New York City, people don't care about where you're from. People don't care,
Mhm.
People are like, I'm from wherever, Zimbabwe. Okay,
They'll
yeah, whatever.
they'll
Keep
barely
on going.
talk to you. You know, everybody
Mhm.
walks by you or
Yeah.
Even
So,
even if you're from there, right? Let
yeah,
alone a stranger
yeah.
or
right.
a foreigner. And it's even like the girl at the supermarket. And then the time I was with him, she said, she was like, oh my God, he made my week that week. Like
Yeah, dude.
Aw.
just
Yeah,
practicing
dude.
a little bit of English with a native speaker, like it just shows like, the care and the friendship and the loving approach that, many people have. You watch TV, the world is a dangerous place. Like everybody's out to
Mm.
get you, and you get out of there and out of it and go in the real world, and you learn. Like,
Mhm.
no,
No.
mm-mm.
That's the beauty too. So like, us travel, that's another thing that made, both of us and me
Mhm.
especially want to do this because once again, if you sit in the United States, you watch the news, stay home, the world's burning,
Mhm.
your safest
Right.
place is home. It's all
Mhm.
Yep.
fear-based. Okay, but we travel all the time. We've traveled all the time for a long time now. And man, the interesting thing is what I've found is we're all alike. Let's hang out. Let's have a cocktail, whatever, have a beer together. Let's eat some food. Let's talk about life.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
tell me your story from Brazil. Wow.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
they're super interested in me because I'm from the United States, and it's that's most of the world. I'm
Right.
not there's evil everywhere, but
Yeah.
that's most of the world is we're all human,
Mhm.
man. We all have the
Right.
same emotions, we all
Yep.
have the same feelings. We might speak different languages, but we still feel the same feelings,
Mhm.
right? And then you can relate to people, man. And like, how do we relate to people? Well, a lot of times it's over food and drinks, right?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
you find out as you travel the world, it's like, man, we're all the
Breaking
same.
bread.
I don't care
Yeah,
what color you are, where you're
exactly.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all the same.
Mhm.
Yep.
We're all the same. And like, so the news, like they even have websites, right? The United States government to tell you like what's dangerous and what's not. And it's so ridiculous because if you look at the global, there's a global a website that rates every country globally how dangerous it is. Dude, the United States is like 60 something or 80 something, right? So like even like here's way safer than the US, but then they'll be like, well, be careful there. There's pickpockets. Man, hey, I lived in a small town in New Jersey called Newfield that we had shootings and
And SWAT team
SWAT
there
team
too.
across the street. Like it's like, hey, man, I'm in a city, dude. It's less happens here.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
it's all perspective and it's all
Right.
experience, right? So like experience comes or perspective comes through experience, and then, oh, okay, so once again, we're lied to. You know what I mean? The world is not an evil place. I mean, there's bad places. like we're not going to Ukraine. That's a bad idea, right? We're not going
Mm-hmm.
to Afghanistan. It's a bad
Mm-hmm.
idea to travel there. You got to use your
Mm-hmm.
head. There are bad
Mm-hmm.
places, but like you just pay attention. That's all.
Well, and you do your research too. So
You
it's not
should.
like you're just randomly,
Yeah, absolutely.
picking a spot on the map and saying, "Oh, let's go here."
Although
So
I would do that.
I
Let's
know
get
you would.
a dartboard and a map and let's shoot it and see where it lands, and that's where we're going. I'm
You know,
okay with
Tommy's, I think, a little bit more reserved there,
A
but
little more strategic.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No,
But
I'd rather feel comfortable in the field.
yeah, I don't blame you. But okay, so you're doing your research. So you're decide. Okay, so how do you do this? Do you decide where are we going to go next, and then you start the research on it? Do you have an idea ahead of time, or do you
Yeah.
just or do you sit down and talk about it? Like how does that process
Yeah,
all of
begin?
it.
yeah, all of it
All
really. So,
all
Yeah.
that.
like we've talked about South America, and we started South America in Brazil because of her family,
Mm,
and we're like, okay, well, we'll spend 3 weeks with her family, and then she has friends and family in São Paulo. We spent a week there, and then we decided to spend 2 weeks in Rio, kind of like just by ourselves, although she has family there too,
Mhm.
and then make it logistically smart. We decided, okay, well, what's close to Brazil? Well, Uruguay.
mm,
What's close to Uruguay? We're taking a ferry when we go to Buenos Aires. We're taking a ferry from Colonial del Sacramento, and it's only an hour and 15-minute ferry ride. So we're going to take the ferry over, and then what's next to Argentina? Well, Chile, and then
mm-hmm,
we'll
mm-hmm.
leave Peru to go to Europe. Now, a good example is Europe hasn't been talked about yet. So we do know we're going to Ireland in May because we have friends coming in Ireland. So we're going to meet them there. But we haven't talked about the logistics. So or the way we do it, we'll talk about it. Okay. When it gets closer though, like usually like a month or two out, like I just, 2 weeks ago, I booked Rio, probably, or not Rio, I mean, Argentina,
Buenos
Buenos
Aires.
Aires, yeah. So, and then now I'm mapping a lot of my steps out there, what areas to go to, what to see. And then once I get there, gotta map out Patagonia. I gotta start booking stuff in Patagonia. And then even Mendoza, because Patagonia will be busy we're only going to be there for a week.
And it
So
will be end of January.
yeah, and we'll be busy the whole time there. So when I'm in Buenos Aires, I'll map out Patagonia, book all that, and I'll book Mendoza. So I'll have that all booked, and then once I get to Mendoza, I'll have already looked into Chile, but I'll probably book maybe there or maybe before there. I don't really know.
Mhm.
But when we like at some point in time, we'll sit down and talk about Europe. We
Mhm.
know in May, we just don't know when exactly we're leaving Peru. So do we go to Ireland right from Peru? I don't really know.
Yeah.
We gotta sit down and figure that out. And nothing is mapped in Europe, although we do know because you can only spend 3 months out of 6 months because we'll be there for 6 months in Europe in the Schengen countries. So specific countries you can only spend 3 months out of the 6 months in. So like we can use places like Albania as a home base, which you can stay in Albania for up to a year just on your passport.
Okay.
Countries like Georgia,
Mon-
Montevideo,
Montenegro.
Montenegro, yeah,
We are Montevideo.
gotta get off of you. Yeah, yeah. So we can use them as hubs, and then go
We
to
want to
the
renew our days in
Right.
these countries
yeah.
because we can stay there past what we're authorized. But like we're trying to have an idea of like 6 months at a time. Otherwise it gets even more overwhelming, right? But by the same token, we're very flexible because it's like if we're enjoying a country, we want to stay a little longer, we can. If I'm not feeling it, we can leave earlier too. So if we keep booking way too far ahead, then we're stuck with like or we lose money, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Um, so we're not booking anything, especially transportation, in less than a month out. So right now, what Tommy described, that's the plan, but we might squeeze another country in, which we're not sure which one yet, before we head over to Europe.
I'm
But
just squeeze another country in right here.
yeah, we got a
Well, we,
little.
we may because if we go to Ireland right away, we may do that. But once again, we're not exactly sure. And another thing too to add to that is we don't have winter clothes, so we have to follow the sun.
Ah,
So we're traveling. That's why we go 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, because we have to follow the sun. So it's spring, summer, fall, leave.
Yeah.
Spring, except after we spend 6 months in Europe, we're going to Southeast Asia, which that's pretty warm. So, but
Yeah.
like,
mm.
we'll be there for 6 months and then go back to Europe again. And the plan is we'll evaluate in 2 years and make a decision from there on what the next step is. Hopefully, we'll enjoy this. This is a big learning curve, the first 3 months, trying to, get everything down. But hopefully we enjoy it and we keep going, At
Well, I
some point,
see your future as you're ready to retire from your travels is to become a travel agent. So just keep me in mind when you step into that role.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right, right.
I
But
mean, this is all happening. So you get to kind of keep a little journal now on all of it, all your learning and
yeah,
finding and
And that's like
everything.
partially that's what YouTube is helpful for too. Like,
Mm,
documenting our
yeah,
experiences.
yeah.
hmm
Yeah, and
Plus,
that was going to be one of my next questions was when like you guys are planning this, are you guys also thinking of like some of the things that you want to learn, like
Like
any
specifically,
goals, like whether it's like mental transformation, physical transformation, or like spiritual transformation, like is there anything that you guys kind of have set for these certain different areas in the world?
I think that yeah, I think that everything you said is part of the journey, like for sure.
Mhm.
truly.
Yeah, naturally. So like I know once again, living in living in comfort of home. I could have just lived out my life, traveled 5 times a year. I'm super comfortable. I had cars, house, everything. But where's the growth there, man? And life was pushing, me personally, like you just felt stagnant. I have a ton of friends, I have a lot of things to do, but it's felt stagnant. So it pushed me to the unknown. The unknown is selling everything and just leaving. And but what's going to come out of that? Growth, because I'm stepping into the unknown. So I'm going to learn a lot about
hmm
myself. So it's all that, man. Spiritually speaking, for sure, there's going to be a lot of growth, along the way. How it happens, I don't know. I mean, man, we'll be improved, man. Do I do a ayahuasca ceremony? I'm not against it. I'm not saying that I'm going out looking for it, but like,
If it
man,
happens,
I don't know, where is it going to take us? I don't know where it's
stay
going to take.
tuned, folks. Another
Yeah,
Mhm.
episode to
sure,
come.
Yeah,
for sure.
for
But I
sure.
look forward to it, and I look forward to the challenges because the challenges. I mean, in the moment of the challenges, uh, in our head, we're like, why is this happening? But like, really, how do we handle that, and how do we come out of that? And
Hmm.
that's, yeah, I'm curious, the human being I'll be in 5 years from now, right?
Yeah.
If we keep
hmm
Yeah.
going, and
Or
her too,
or
and all of us. I mean,
And even as a couple, I think too, like in agreement with what he just said, right? Like what you mentioned, Laura, like I think it's gonna come naturally. Um, only if we're open and aware to it, right? Because
hmm
it's so much easier when things get hard to just like, hey, let's turn around and go back.
Yep.
And we're in agreement, like through thick or thin, we're not turning back.
two
Like
years is
we
our
are
commitment.
going to push through and learn and grow and get stronger together, right? And I think on a relationship level, it's going to fine tune our communication, our alignment, because we need that in order for this to flow smoothly. And just like on a personal level, I think it's going to show what our relationship is made out of.
Oh yeah.
Because
You'll be
that that's
tested.
Hmm.
that's something that's. I mean, me and Danny, of course, our friends all know us, but like we have an amazing relationship.
Hmm.
We don't argue, fight, we communicate with each other. But at home, there's a lot of outlets, especially for me being retired. I have people I'm with all the time. I have my guy friends. They're doing here, I'm there, I'm hiking, I'm doing all these things. So I don't spend that much time. I mean, I do spend a lot of time with her at home because pretty much Thursday to Sunday, well, unless football Sunday, but I spend way less time with her then. Now I'm with her pretty much every day. Monday and Tuesday she's working, so she's busy. But like now, I have no other
I'm working
outlets.
every day.
Well, no, she is, but I have no other outlets. So like that's interesting. Like
Mm,
Sure.
that's a journey.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, man.
exactly. Because like I am like um when I get involved with something, I go all in. Like
Mhm.
I am very dedicated. This is the Libra in me, like the perfectionism. Like I want it happened, and I want it happening, and I want it like good enough, like the YouTube, right? Like so I don't just want to put out a video randomly. I think you guys know this, but I've taken camera confidence courses. I've taken editing courses. So like I have plenty to occupy my time with that I am interested in, right? So like this part of his journey too, to find what ticks him, like to find what sparks him, right? Um, uh, to add meaning and
Mhm.
purpose to this whole journey too. And it's up to him to find what that is for him.
Yeah. So far, I don't know.
Hmm.
At home,
It's
I was just
okay.
gonna say, have you found
yeah,
any of that just yet? Like, are you
nah,
aware of it or
not.
processed it?
Oh, I'm aware of it, and
Hmm.
I think about it quite often, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because like,
Mm,
what's purpose, right? I mean, it's like, at home, you know, yeah, I've been helped before, when I was in complete darkness, and coming out of that at home, I was able to help a lot of people. So, and still a lot of people confided in me, so that was kind of, I guess, a role I had there, which was beautiful, really, because like you love to see people do better for themselves.
Mhm.
But, I mean, I still have contact with these people through text message and I FaceTime with people sometimes, but that's not my role no more, dude, really. I'm not really present enough to fill that void for people. So now what is it? And
mm,
I'm a people person, but I can't talk. So that's complicated. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm in my head a lot thinking about
Mm.
these things. And in Uruguay, there's a place called Ramblas down by the water. It's really cool, man. You watch sunsets down there. So I'll go sit there on Mondays and Tuesdays and I'll meditate and I'll just ground myself. And, I don't know. It'll come to me eventually. But I
It
feel like
will.
sometimes, like, I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'm doing my research for the next parts of a trip, but like, that's not what
Mhm.
my life's all about, man. You know what I mean? So,
And I'm thinking back years ago when we first met, kind of had a similar conversation,
yeah,
my purpose and what am I here to do? And then we started talking about the law of one, and then we just kind
yeah,
of went on from there, and then all our gatherings and our classes and stuff, and to see how far you've come and how much you've grown. And this is just another chapter now in your life.
yeah,
So, give yourself some time, embrace everything, step into the moment, be present, enjoy it all. Life is too short. And I think the older we get, the more we realize um it truly is not long enough.
yeah,
Now of
Mm.
course we have moments where we're like, oh geez, I can't anymore with this, but then there's other times where you just don't want it to end. You want to stay in those beautiful moments and stuff. So I think um I see a lot of good things coming your way. And Tommy, don't worry about it. You are stepping into the person you are meant to be. I've watched you evolve through the years. And I'm so proud to call you my friends for you to take this leap of faith and just launch out into an unknown world. Like, how do you even do that? Like, what did you pack? One suitcase each?
yeah.
And that was it? I
One
mean,
suitcase each and a small backpack. That's
oh
it.
my gosh, I can't
mm.
even imagine. I can't
Yeah.
And
even
we're
imagine.
and we're shedding pieces too because it's like, oh, you don't really need that much that
Right.
you do.
Yeah, right. That's what's crazy. Like you wear the same stuff a lot of times.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was interesting stuff, like going back to like our days back in the day, and like from the time when I kind of, had my awakening moment to, you know, people in my life and the groups in my life, which obviously you're a big part of that. And then the last group I was involved with that we'd get together every other week at JT's house,
Yep.
James's house. And when that kind of came to an end, uh, it started getting stale, right? It was all good to be with my people, but it was getting stale. And I knew in myself, I don't know why, but I knew the next part of the journey was by myself. And this is
Hmm.
way before this happened, before I retired even. And I didn't know what that meant even. And I'm not saying that's what it meant is this now, but it could correlate with that because like you know, I knew the next part of the journey I had to do alone. I had to walk it alone. And then here I am, right?
Yeah. And
And
you know that you feel that winds of change when they start to blow,
yeah,
it is undeniable. You know, you may not know exactly what it is. You're not meant to because you're going to grow through it, but you know, and it's not even something you can explain to anyone. It's an internal feeling. It's an
uh,
internal understanding. And it reminds me when I after one of my classes we had at the house, I was putting the chairs away and had this overwhelming feeling like this is going to be your last class. And at first I was like, no, why? Like I love them. I love having the people here. I mean, it's such an amazing experience, but it was undeniable. Like that feeling was this is going to be it. And then 7 months later, I moved to Pennsylvania, sold everything, like sold my
yeah,
home where I raised my children. Also, that was winds of change when they're getting your attention, you do need to pay attention, to
uh,
see what it's presenting. But solo is also very important for our journey.
yeah.
Hmm.
And that's what's interesting. You talk about the winds of change. Like I knew, like I mean, probably for sure the last year or before that even, like something had to change. Like something
Mm-hmm.
in my life, and I'm living the freaking life, man. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
going out to lunches with my buddies. I'm going hiking. We're hanging out, and I'm like, there's more.
Yep.
There's more, and it's
Yep.
just pushing me. And it's like, no, I'm not ignoring it, but like it's like a splinter in my brain. But like
Mm-hmm.
I continue to do what I do, and like people would look at my life and be like, man, you got the best life ever, dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then I'm like, something's missing, man. There's something
Yep.
not. So I have to move. This can't be it. I could do this till I die, but like this isn't it. This is not my purpose to stay here. So
No, and you've
it,
always been on that path. You and Danny both, you've reached that plateau and then you're like, okay, well, what's next? What's
yeah,
next? Where do I go from here? I've gone through the same thing, which is why I am where I am spiritually, why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because it's if you do have a choice if you want to stay and get comfortable in that spot. But most of us, and we know because we're talking many, many years that we've known each other, I don't think any of us have decided to, oh, let me just stay here and this is it, I'm done. There's
Mm-mm.
always that what's more, what's next, where do I go, who do I meet, whose path am I going to cross? And it's ironic that we're all being brought together now after going our own way and growing and evolving and learning and having these experiences. And now here it's almost like we're coming full circle and we have
yeah,
someone else that we're going to be bringing back from back in the day. um
Yeah.
Kind of a little surprise.
oh, cool.
So I was hearing reach out to her. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to like freak out because I haven't talked to her in like 12 years. And now we just picked up where we left off 12 years
Yeah.
ago. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And she is so excited to reconnect with everyone again. Like, I don't think it gets any better than this. And not that
Yeah.
I want it to stop here. Like, I want to really see this grow. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
do.
yeah, absolutely.
When you're talking about the pull, the discomfort and all of that, like for me, like one experience that's so vivid. I was very, very young. I want to say 16 years old or something. And I knew, didn't understand, but I just had this thing inside. I knew Brazil wasn't my home.
Mm-hmm.
Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't where I wanted to be. And of course, at 16 years old, you can't do anything. Like I
Right.
can't pack my stuff and go. Um, so, but like for years, I just had this like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And initially, I moved to a different city and like, no, it's not it. Moved to another one. Nah, it's not it. And it wasn't until I moved out of the country and landed in the US, which was
Mm.
my third choice, not even my first choice, but I landed there. A couple months go by and I'm like, this is it. Now, this is where I'm meant to be, at least for the time being, right? So, long story short, like I spent almost 19 years in the US and, to leave again. And tying to like the purpose portion of things, I view purpose as like this more layered, complex thing as opposed to like one or two life purposes. I think it is really, I think it's tied to the chapters that you're living,
Mm.
because our purposes change depending on the
Yep.
stage of life, the chapters. I was telling Tommy, like, because he points out sometimes like all the things I get myself involved in, like, that truly interests me. And then he says, like, you succeed in anything you put your mind to. Yes, because it serves my purpose at the time I am doing it, right? So I go all in. The YouTube channel for the travel experiences, right? Yeah, I'm going to invest in doing a good thing, a good job, and share good information and all of that because it's serving my purpose here,
Right.
right? Am I calling this my life purpose? No. But right
Mm-hmm.
now, it's part of my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it, and I let my emotions be my compass, whether they are pleasant emotions or unpleasant emotions. I have learned this. This is difficult to do, and I teach that in therapy. I have learned to befriend my emotions, to get curious about them. What are they telling me, right? Instead of trying to get rid of them. Like most people, especially the uncomfortable ones, people want to get rid of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't spend time with their anxiety, with their sadness, with their loneliness, because they're not fun to experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But once you open the space for them and you acknowledge, like, hey, all right, you're going to be here for a minute. Tell me about you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now talk about evolving, talk about integrating, right? And then you let that be your compass, and then it becomes an accurate compass, right? You're not
Mm-hmm.
acting on your anxiety anymore, and you're
Right.
you're you're responding to it. You're like, wait a minute, I'm still in charge. Like you're here warning me of something, but let's look this thing through,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I want to
Instead
pause
of
you there because I want to go back to have the listeners really take that in of what you just said, being an active compass.
Mhm.
Because when they're not paying attention to those emotions, you wind up kind of living life passively, even though you think you're in control, your subconscious is really in control. So,
Mhm.
so no positive thinking or any of that is going to get you out of what your subconscious is navigating. So I loved that you said that, and it just like triggered it. And I wanted to like reinforce that
Mhm.
because it's so true.
And
It's
it
powerful.
is it
Yeah.
is life changing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, when I get a client, because I work primarily with anxiety disorders, and I get, for obvious reasons, not obvious, but like because of my own intimacy with my own anxiety, right? Getting to know that and how I have overcome it, and I know I can teach others to do the same. So, I listen to them and I get to know them, and eventually I tell them, like, well, it's all about your goal, but my goal for you is to become friends with your anxiety because you can get rid of it, right? But once you become friends with it, you stop fearing it. And
Mm-hmm.
once you stop fearing it, then you live the life you want,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that is the power.
Yeah, it's embracing another aspect
Mhm.
of yourself, maybe one that
Mhm.
you don't care for, that maybe you're not proud of for whatever reasons, but it's
Yeah,
those moments that we have to stop and look in the mirror and be honest with ourselves, be true to
yeah,
ourselves, and embrace all of it because it is who we are.
yeah. And some might call it the shadow work,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we need to look into our shadow, right? Like guilt, shame, they're heavy emotions to
Yeah.
carry around,
Yeah.
but they're not going anywhere. They're not getting released unless you
No.
spend time with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there will be other opportunities in your journey for as trigger moments, that
Mhm.
will once again bring all those bubbling up to the surface and saying, "Hey, remember me?"
Yeah.
Maybe it's time that we really work through this.
And I think tying to, like, this journey, figuring out purpose and self-understanding and so on. And Laura, to your point too earlier, like, and Steph too, time alone is essential because it's the only time you go within,
Mhm.
right? Because when Otherwise, you're just constantly distracted. And
Always.
another day
Hmm.
goes by, and oh, you know what? Like that thing that happened 5 years ago, I still haven't looked at.
Yep. So, what do you think one of your moments was to bring you to that dark night of the soul?
I think it was the move from Brazil to the US, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody. At 24, I literally made my bag and I'm like, peace out. Peace out. And my parents were like, I'm like, I gotta do this, right? And I moved to the US as an au pair. So for those who don't know, a live-in nanny, right? Like so there's this program for foreigners, like you put your resume kind of thing, your profile on the intranet, and the families choose you. And if you accept them, you connect with them, and then they bring you into the US. So my plan was to stay there for 1 year. And but I didn't know anybody. And to what we were talking about earlier, Brazil, Uruguay that we're experiencing, people here are very friendly, very welcoming. They make a point to greet you and talk to you. In the US, I did not experience that, not where I moved to at least. So for a good, I met you what, 6 months after I arrived there,
Mm.
right? So for 6 months, I didn't know anybody. I met Tommy 2 weeks before my 25th birthday. And then I mentioned that in conversation when I first met him, and he's like, "Oh, so what are you doing on your birthday?" My answer was, uh, I'll probably sit at Landmark, the bar in the neighborhood, and probably just have a meal by myself. I don't have friends here. And then he's like, "Well, we got to fix that problem." And then here we are, 18 years later, we're still hanging out. But like, it was so difficult. And I spoke English, so it wasn't a language barrier. So it was so difficult to make connections. So those are very, very difficult months. And the loneliness was real. The lack of connection, being homesick. And back then, there wasn't the technology that we have today. In order to
Hmm.
talk to my family, I had to be on Skype on like scheduled time in front of a big machine, right? Like it wasn't as practical as it is today. Um, so yeah, countless nights of crying, not knowing who I was, being completely lost, um, but yet determined because I didn't want to go back. I'll figure this out. I'll find my place. I'll find myself. But it is like this process of shattering everything, and then rebuild. Um,
Yeah.
for the first time, I got to be who I wanted to be and who I needed to be instead of living by expectations or perceptions from other people. Um, and it was painful, very,
Mm.
very painful. But the growth that came from it, and again, working through my anxiety, I can get rid of this. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't go to sleep because I'm hyperventilating here because I don't have anybody to talk to. Well, I had to say, like, well, tell me about you then. And then, as scary as it was, but like a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And I'm so comfortable. When I have anxiety, I don't fear it anymore. When I have
Hmm.
any emotion that I can think of, um, I'm able to talk about it. I'm able to label it. I'm able to express in a healthy way because I did plenty of unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Hmm.
Um, So it's been a very transformative journey and one that I'm very passionate about. Clearly, I made it my career.
Tommy, what was your uh, dark night? What got you going?
So it always comes through like some hard times, right? Not, I guess, I mean, for me,
Always.
it did. So like I was married before and I was young when I got married and then I got divorced. Guess I was around 29 or 30 years old. I had cheated on my ex-wife, left her for another woman. And then the guilt that I felt from that was bad, like because she was a good person. So I mean, you don't ever want to hurt nobody, but the way it all ended was really bad. The whole thing was bad. So for several years, I was single and had different women in my life and was drinking a lot. The doctor prescribed me Xanaxes because I get anxiety. Well, I would think about this stuff, and it just was not cool. I had a lot of friends, so it was always going out. But what I didn't realize at the time, I was hiding from myself. The
Mm.
drinking, the pills, I was hiding from myself. And then there became a night when I was probably around 32 or 33 years old when I got caught home alone uh, at my apartment. So I had no girls to hang out with or no guy friends to hang out with, which never happened. And man, I just remember pacing the house. And back then I was in the bodybuilding, so I was a big dude. I was pacing the house. And I just had my dog, and I was kind of going crazy. While that night, I had a choice. I had a choice to kill myself, to look in the mirror, or and take responsibility for what I'm doing, or continue to live the life that I was living, what was bringing me the pain I was feeling. So I didn't believe in killing myself. So uh, I said, well, I can keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm not happy. This isn't happy. So I need to look in the mirror. So that night, man, cried, 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 cried. And and then I said, man, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna get help. But it's funny, the universe, the way it works. Because my first mentor was already in my life. So literally, like, go back to the gym.
Mhm.
uh, Probably 2 days later, and this guy Roger was there, and hold on, it's a lot, dude.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Reliving it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, take your moment. It's
Yeah.
okay.
But so my buddy Roger was there, and yeah, I knew this guy, but I didn't really like never hung out, nothing like that. But he always invited me over to his house, and I'd just be like, yeah, cool, man, maybe we'll hang out someday. And then he invited me over, and so I said, I'll take you up on it. I was like broken. And I
Mhm.
go over there, and he was my first mentor. So then from him, it progressed. I sat with him for a long time, for over a year, and he's still a dear, dear friend, super close. And it progressed to, everything else has evolved, including you, Steph, and the different groups, and just trying to look at myself and just trusting in it. You learn to trust in it because it's always, see, I didn't have eyes to see, man. You know what I mean? I didn't have eyes to see that people were already there, because the
Mhm.
direction I was going wasn't that direction. But it's always there. The universe provides everything all the time when you need it. It's always around you right now. But if you don't have eyes to see, you can't see it.
Mm.
So
True.
so I needed that pain. It's funny because back then I looked at that as the worst moment of my life. It's something you'll never forget. Obviously, it shakes you. But looking back on it, it's the best thing that ever happened to me because it completely changed my life. It completely steered my whole life and put me in another direction and has me on the path of self-discovery and self-growth. And that's
Mhm.
what got me into meditation. It's got me into everything that I've been into. And, it's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, man. Once again, I could have stayed home and lived in comfort. I got a good life, but that's not pushing me. I'm not going to grow from that. I mean,
Mhm.
I might grow a little bit, but I'm going to get, it's pushing me. I don't know. The universe is pushing you. So I'm going to get way
Yep.
more out of this, being
Yep.
put in the unknown, in the uncomfortable of the unknown, uh, to help expand myself and to help expand my consciousness. And then
Mhm.
through that, the beauty of it is through that, you become a light to others, right? You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And you
I,
get to taste all this delicious food and all these local beers, and
yeah,
you're living the dream right now. So you're exactly where you're meant to be. And
New
then you
mentors.
yeah, and right. And then you meet Danny, and then that's
yeah.
that's a journey in itself.
Oh, yeah.
That was It was funny because I mean, I don't know, man. But I'm just gonna be honest because I'm an honest person. So like when I met her, like I was single, I had different girls in my life. It wasn't a problem, and I'm not trying to brag or nothing. It
Mhm.
just wasn't. At the gym I meet people, going out I meet people. And when I met her,
I mean, look at this
I
face.
know.
How
But when I met her at the gym, and I wasn't a creepy dude to try to hit on girls and shit. It just happened, would happen naturally.
Mhm.
So when I met her, it wasn't a person that she wasn't really my type, honestly. I mean, so like I wasn't trying to like, look at this girl. I mean, talk to her.
Yeah. And vice
Uh,
versa. I was
yeah.
not. It was when we say it was
It
real
was,
down, it
but
was super
it,
random.
it needed to happen that
Yeah.
way because I was, I was so stuck on looks and shit. In my own mind, you're like, oh, this is my style. This is what I like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I met her and I'm talking to her, and it's crazy, but I felt drawn to her. I don't know what it was, but I was like, man, this girl is so cool. She's such a cool chick. And it's funny when I sat with Roger right after I met her, right? And I said, dude, I met this girl. Like, she's a really cool chick, but they sound like my type, yada yada. Roger says to me, "You're gonna marry her." Swear to God. He
He had
said,
never met he had
he
never
never
met
met
me.
her. He said, "You're gonna marry that girl." I said, "Get the hell out of here, dude." Like, I said, damn it, dude. I get it. I get what he saw now because
Mm-hmm.
he knew all my other stories, right? So he knew all the people that had been in and out of my life.
Yep.
And now I'm bringing back something to him that's like, man, I just feel there's something. First thing I said to her literally was like, man, I could feel her energy. I said, man, you have great positive energy. I could feel your energy. Literally, that's one of the first things I said to her.
Mhm.
And it was, you think it's a chance he came from Brazil to where she ended up and then we ended up here today? That's not chance, man.
What a coincidence.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine.
Like
Yeah.
we've been together before
Yeah.
in other lives,
This
for
goes
sure.
beyond this
But
world.
You're
but
doing the universal dance.
Mm.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
It's
It
it's
sure
uh,
is.
it's
Yeah.
it's interesting. She helps me a lot too. She's a teacher
And
for
vice
Mm-hmm.
sure.
versa.
No, yeah, for sure. Right.
I can be very complacent. I can be like, very laissez-faire, like go with the wind and and he pulls me into like sense of direction and like, hey, where we're going kind of thing, right? Um Assertiveness, like I learned a lot with him because coming from a background of people pleasing, like, I come from a culture that is more collective in nature. I'm a female and I was raised Catholic. So
Mm-hmm.
used to putting myself behind all the way in the back of the bus kind of thing, right? Like taking this kind of service to an extent that is so detrimental, right? Like your needs are never met, but in the long run, you're meeting everybody else's needs, right? So I learned a lot with him to know, like, it's okay for me to look out for myself. It's okay to put my needs first, right? So we do balance each other uh, very well because I've
Mm-hmm.
that that growth, a lot of it was influenced by him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so like I definitely want to add this because it drives me crazy. Like, like the movie Jerry Maguire is
Yeah.
like, you complete me. If you ever think somebody's going to complete you, you are screwed because you can only complete yourself.
Right.
Once you complete yourself, or we're always in the process of completing yourself, but once you complete yourself, then you get somebody else to complete themselves and you can come together as a union, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm an individual person. She is. We don't,
Right.
we're not bound to each other. I mean,
Mhm.
we're married, but like
Right.
I'm myself. I have my own likes. I have my own things I like to do. She has her own things. I don't try to control that. She don't try to control this. We
Mhm.
obviously have common interests, travel, and which
Mhm.
obviously makes it all work. But I'm me at the end of the day. Like at
Mhm.
home, like I hang out with my friends all the time. She don't try to control what I do. You know,
And I
No, and you complement each other
yeah,
very well.
yeah.
yeah,
And the thing is, the key to all relationships is communication. Like we don't argue, we don't fight, we talk.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll check in with each other quite often. Like,
yep,
Mm-hmm.
hey, how's things going? How we
yep,
doing? Especially on this journey,
yep.
because this is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at home we do it. We do it on Thursday nights at home. Like we'd have Thursday dinner, and I'd cook dinner, and she'd make some cocktails, and we'd sit at dinner and we'd talk about how we're doing.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
like it was so healthy, because because what happens is animosity starts building and it's not expressed and it builds and it's not expressed. And next thing you know, it blows up. And it's like, whoa, dude,
Hmm.
I didn't know what was going on there, dude. Well, because you build it all up. Well, if you just get it out, you take all that away,
And
right?
I'm gonna add something
Yeah.
to like to the communication, right? Because most people anchor mostly in what you just said, expressing, 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 expressing. But there's the biggest part of communication that most people are not good at, listening.
Yes.
Listening, because you can express frustration, disappointment, hurt until you're blue in the face, but if you're not being listened to, nothing changes, and that all of that continues to grow. Resentment, animosity, and all of that. So not just the expression, but the listening. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we both are good at that. And like, he has ADHD, so sometimes I have to be like, hey, I'm not done yet. Can you, I got my
I'm like,
space
ooh,
back.
shiny light.
Yeah. But like, he's good with that, right? Like, he doesn't get defensive. He doesn't get,
I understand the way this
yeah.
works.
And obviously I do respectfully, kindly. I'm not, and he
Yeah,
said, he said that like, I've never been the person, because I understand it too, not from a personal perspective, because I don't have it, but from a clinical perspective, from just knowing people who struggle with it. I know it's a real thing. And he said, like, you've never taken it personally. Like, I'm not listening to you. I'm like, no, I know it's something you struggle with, right? So I can't hold that against him. So that's another portion of like evolution, growth, and understanding. If you know and if you understand each other, then you're not taking it as an attack or being defensive, because that's detrimental to a relationship. So I think like our foundation is so solid with that. Like if we have to express something difficult, we're like, hey, I need to talk about this. Is this a good time? Or like, how are you experiencing this? Like, and we keep that open.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that allows both of you to exist individually, like both of you are being seen.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
Yeah.
it's
And
a,
problems get resolved because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
find that common ground.
and it
Yeah.
builds a stronger relationship. I
Yeah.
mean, the relationship gets better and better
Mhm.
and stronger and stronger. So it's really I don't know how many people in the world experience that though. I mean, I'm sure there's quite a few, but there's quite a few that don't. Sure.
There's quite a few
Yeah,
that
there's a
don't.
lot.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe this, someone listening can hear your story and maybe it'll help them in their relationship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And we could talk about this 20
we're
minutes.
we're gonna bring you back on for our relationship experts.
Absolutely.
So if any of you listeners have any questions, start thinking of them now.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, 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 yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
good.
powerful thing. Talk about
Yeah.
like you know, going far together, right? Like when you're in aligned paths, not the same paths, but in aligned paths and with that respect that like, hey, just like earlier, right? Like it is his journey and path to figure out what it is for him, and it is mine to figure out what it is for me, right? So, um, but then when we align, I give him the space he needs, he gives me my space. Um, we come together, we retrieve, like it's just a melody, uh,
Beautiful.
like a song, a music that you dance to, and it's in tune.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Something comes to mind for me is that, like, if you guys would have taken this journey back when you first, say, got married, it probably would have been a very different experience. And it goes back to things kind of happening when they need to happen. So, like, if anybody out there is just kind of feeling like, why isn't this happening now for me? Or why
Mhm.
can't I kind of figure this out? I know I don't want to be here. I want to do this. I know I certainly was in that place at a certain time. It's like some things just have to grow, you have to grow more for that to happen.
1000%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
1000.
you have to grow into that place, that space.
Yeah.
And that
And
takes time and experience.
I believe that is rooted in awareness, right? So a lot of the time, how many times we've missed the point,
Mhm.
right? Because we're so stuck in like, well, I want, right? And then
Mhm.
we get frustrated because it's not happening the way I want it to happen, when I want it to happen. But how many of us can actually be like, it's not meant to be. There's something else. I may not know right
Right.
now, but let me
Right.
take some space. Let me pause this because this has to come first,
Right.
right?
Right.
Say that with certain frequency, um, not everything happens in our time.
Yeah.
Like we just have to trust the process, and we don't have to change our goals. We don't have to give up our dreams because
Mhm.
of it. Just like meeting each other. It wasn't even because when I first came to the
Mhm.
US, I just wanted to travel throughout the country. The last thing on my brain was to get into a relationship. And hey, it happened, and I'm
Surprise.
excited. So, but again, right? Like it's just like stay open, stay
Hmm.
open. And you know, if something is not happening for you right now, there's something else first
Hmm.
that you're missing out on. So pay
And there
attention.
is other things going on. Even though
Yeah,
you may not see it, doesn't mean that there's aren't things going on behind the scenes too. And it's
right.
just waiting for the right people, the right time, the right place. There's a lot that goes into this. This is why, we call these synchronicities. And when
Mm,
you're present and in that moment and aware,
yeah.
paying attention, I mean, even to the bird that stops in front of you and all of a sudden it's
100%.
looking at you,
Mhm.
or you're stepping outside and you see something, it just catches your eye. It's not, it doesn't belong there, but then all of a sudden there it is, and
Oh,
then I have to share my there was other things that happened in Arizona with my friends, Jan and Nelson, which we'll save that for another time. But the last night, after a very unexpected, sad situation, that neither one of us knew at the time. I did have the feeling, but again, the universe was keeping that veil there. I wasn't meant to know until I got there, but I knew in that moment that's exactly where I was meant to be with my
mhm.
friend while she went through this. And then our last night together, what happens? We go sit in the hot tub for a little while, and it's pitch black dark except for the stars, and you feel so closer to them. And I
Right.
just felt the need to turn around, and when I did, here comes a shooting star or a meteor. I don't know what it was. All I know is that it was about 100 feet in front of us. We saw the tail, we saw the colors behind it, we saw the way it wasn't coming down from the sky, it was coming across in front of us horizontally. I still not sure why, but I know that I believe the universe was saying, you're right where you're meant to be right now. So if there was any doubt whatsoever, just take this as a confirmation. No, it was not what you were expecting, but it was meant to be. And I knew leaving something was not right. It was not my normal trip. And it was a calling, but it was a different type of calling. So again, once you're paying attention, and even though you don't understand it at first, you will eventually. All the pieces will come
Yeah,
together and you'll figure it out. But pay attention to those moments. They're very significant.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah. And it just made me think of our last night at the house. We had the most stressful day when we were getting ready to leave for good to come on this journey, right? And we had our last day. The people were going to closing the next morning, so we left the night before. And I made the mistake to work 10 hours that day, thinking that I was on track with everything, and I wasn't. So, on top of working 10 hours that day and then having to pack the last minute things that took way longer than I thought, um, I felt like there was an elephant sitting on my chest. That's how much stress we were both feeling, right? And he is running around all day, getting things out of the house, getting the house cleaned up, and all of that. And it's about at this time, it's about 11:30 at night. And we're heading over to our
Yeah.
friend's house. Johnny let us stay at his house for 2 nights. And we both like frantic, like just getting out of the house, rushing to get to Johnny's. And we sat in the car. You know, when you take that last deep breath, like, oh my gosh, it's all behind us. He turns on the music, and Bob Marley's song "Three Little Birds" is playing at the exact moment where he says, "Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is going to be all right." We both looked at each other. We
I
held
got goosebumps.
same.
Come on,
We
man.
held hands.
That's not coincidence, man.
We looked
No,
at each other, and we were like, "This is it.
everything's going to be okay.
Everything is all
It's the
right."
universe saying it's all good, man.
Breathe.
Yep.
Like you're doing exactly what you need to be doing right now, right?
Mhm.
So what a moment. Like
Right.
it was like, Oh
Yes.
my gosh, you can't
You can
get
breathe.
bigger than that,
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
that made me think of that. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
really appreciate those moments, because
Oh,
it's what gives you the fuel you need to keep
mhm.
going when in doubt. Because I mean, we're our own worst enemies most of the time. We don't know how to get out of our way, and we're all under a lot of stress, and there's this upheaval going on in the world right now because every soul is having their own awakening. So there's a lot going on. So I think these taking these moments are so important, personal moments that you have, and of course you two get to share this together, which is better.
Mhm.
But yeah, like, stop and take a breath and see what's going on around you, because you may be missing something,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
universe reminds you, if you're not on track, then you get that little
Oh,
nudge,
yeah.
you'll get that little push to do what you're supposed to be doing,
I've
or a
done that
smack
many,
it.
many times.
Yeah. Or a smack upside the head. Yeah,
Knock you
it's
out a little bit.
yeah, one way or another, the universe
One
kind
way
of
or
lets you
another.
know when you're.
Yeah, usually it's like a little gradual, little gradual, little gradual, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, sorry, pay attention.
Yeah, yeah, I've had a few of those myself, so yeah, anyway.
And we
But
do that like just on the weekend when we were in Punta del Este, like, just looking at each other. We're on sitting on the beach, and I just looked at him and I said, like, can we just take a purposeful moment here to anchor in gratitude? Look around.
mm,
Look at what we get to do. Look at what
yeah,
we built towards, right? Like,
right,
look at what we turned our life into, like something that most people wish they could do and they can't. So like, let's
yeah,
honor that right now.
yeah,
Like, because it is important, right? You don't want to
hmm,
lose your humility. You don't want to lose your sight of reality. Um, it's just anchoring in that gratitude and building more and more meaningful purposes and goals and experiences, moments, and
That's very important for people to hear, because I think that may be one of the reasons that keep us from pursuing our own dreams and goals, is that fear of, I'm going to lose myself along the way. No, you're
Mhm.
not. You're just becoming a better version of who you are. And to
Yeah.
think, if you're pushed outside your comfort zone a little bit, that's where
Mhm.
the true growth is. We don't grow in
Oh,
comfort, so
But
we
that
kind
can be scary though for a lot of people because
heck yeah.
it does require
it
you
is
to
scary.
yeah. But even
Yeah.
even to like, even if you're looking at something pleasant, right? Like a lot of the times I hear people, maybe because of my career, I've heard people say like, I'm afraid to continue to pursue this because I'm afraid to succeed and what the success
Mhm.
of this will do, right? Obviously, this like could be looked at as an exciting thing and not necessarily, and it's still scary, right?
Hmm.
Because a lot of things will require you to reshape your identity, and most people
Hmm.
are fused with their identities. So it's
Change.
like, yeah, same with careers, right? Like, oh,
Hmm.
if I lose my job tomorrow as a therapist, who am I? Right?
Right.
Mhm.
Like, I've explored enough of different domains of my life that I have an idea that I'm not my career, right?
Hmm.
And I'd still struggle through that transition. But like, imagine like so many people living in this comfort of like, oh, I have enough to pay my bills, I'm good. Um not my dream job, but like stable,
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
of that, right? And when they lose that, they build entire identity around it and they lose that. That's why
Yep.
like retirement can be so difficult for a lot of people. Such a strong sense of identity around something that you do. It's not who you are.
No.
Yeah.
But when people don't explore who they are, they don't know who they are outside of the things
Right.
they do. So, yeah, even something positive can be scary because it's like, who am I? I see that too. Like, who am I without my anxiety?
Hmm.
I have clients that have asked me that question. Like, but that's how I know how to live life. Oh, trust me, you're going to learn a different way, a better way.
Hmm.
Right now, it's
Hmm.
unknown to
Hmm.
you, so it's your anxiety talking,
Hmm.
but you can have an identity outside of anything that you experience and anything that you do. And that is hard for people to comprehend sometimes.
Hmm.
It's much like kind of going back to the childlike stage where you're like, I'm going to look over here and see
Mhm.
if I enjoy this, or I'm going to look over here and see if I like that. And people,
Discovery.
yeah, like people just have to allow that discovery to happen and
Yep.
also allow it to be the answer to finding the purpose. because some people just like, I know people that are just like, I've just never really known what my purpose is. You've always really loved acting, or you've always really loved this. I've never been there. And it's just that give yourself that ability to explore. And that's where you will find where you should be.
Yeah. Curiosity is the most
Yeah.
thing.
Childlike.
That's why kids thrive, because they're genuinely curious, right? And they test it out. They like it. They like it. They don't. They don't. They move along. Like we adults, we get stuck. And it's
Well,
like,
I think sadly, society, this has been programmed into society that we have to have all these different facades and masks, and this is what we have to pretend to do to get through this, and then we have to pretend to do this to get through that. And after a while, it's like, well, who are you really? Who are you deep down inside without all of those masks, without that facade, without can you go out into the world and face these challenges and deal with what needs to be dealt with without having to change all the time and just be you. It's raw. You feel vulnerable. You can actually feel threatened at times too, because it's your own identity that you're dealing with. So there's a lot to unpack here, and I'm hoping that you guys will come back on and we can continue on in this, because I love it. I love this. I think there's people who really they want to hear. They want to hear, how did you do this? What was that defining moment? When did you know that, okay, that's it, I'm done. I can't, what I'm doing is not working. So I need something else. Now, where do I begin with this? So maybe what would you suggest for people? I'm not saying that they're going to sell their house and all their personal belongings and start, traveling around the world. Well, you never know, though. You never know. You think you do, but you don't. So what advice could you give people who are maybe stuck in that place of just allowing their true self to shine through, to be that beacon for others?
Do you want to answer?
You go.
I find that such a complex answer. But I think as basic as developing the capacity or capability to reflect. I think the question, right? Like who am I? Right? Like, what do I like?
It's like identity, like
yeah.
People identify with themselves and they become rigid around that identity, but like, is that who you are? Or is that who people told you you are? You see, we all got to understand that we're just an imprint.
Right.
Everything you get is from another human being, whether it's religion, whatever you want to, whatever it is. Your parents being the first one to imprint you, to create the little persona of the self, the little ego of the self. You go to school, you got friends. Next thing you know, I'm telling you,
there.
people talk to me like that, I'll punch in the mouth, right? That's a point. But that's not who I am, though.
Right.
Once again, through meditation and awareness, you start realizing when you have thought, there's something behind that thought. If you can separate that, then you say, oh, well, what is that? You can't identify that, right? What is looking at these things? And that's why we're so captured by everything, really. And it's designed that way. But like you start building ego and persona, and then you become rigid in that because this is your character now. Yeah. Literally, this is your character. And
you protect it with everything in you.
Yeah, with your whole self.
Yeah. And I think that genuine curiosity, right? I think one practical thing to do that I have found so powerful is go out on a date with yourself. Leave the phone on the side, leave the book at home, go have a meal by yourself, with yourself, sit alone in nature. Go date yourself, get to know who you are, like you said, Steph, outside of these imprints, outside of this conditioning. And I think that is exactly what the dark night of the soul does. It forces you to look at that. So, not everybody needs to go through that painful dark night of the soul. You can do it gently if you learn from others, right? Like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna go to that cafe and order a cup of coffee and just sit there by myself,
Mm-hmm.
look around, be in the moment. Even if it's uncomfortable, I'm gonna sit with that emotion or those emotions, whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and evolving from that, right? Like a
Well, I
lot of
think being uncomfortable is
oh,
probably, one of the best
therapy.
things you can do for yourself too.
Yeah.
Are you uncomfortable? Oh,
Literally.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And reframing what that means, right? Like, so just because it's uncomfortable, it's not a bad thing,
Right.
right? Tommy shared something beautiful here, beautiful reframing when he was talking about his awakening, right? Like, and how that he can look back and perceive as the worst night of his life, or he can look like at that as like it was the best thing that happened to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
What a beautiful reframing, because
Yes.
he's only able to do that because he drew meaning from his suffering, from his pain. So if we look at any type of discomfort that way, we move forward,
Right. We're
right? We don't get
growing.
stuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So reframing what it means to feel uncomfortable. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
bad thing. It's just that. It's just uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable because we are creatures of comfort. And I think as we slowly allow ourselves to strip away these false ideas that we have of who we are or who we're meant to be in society and just be us. Like, we don't need to pretend to be something that we're not.
Nope.
Actually, I think it gets a little bit easier when you do let all of that fall to the wayside,
Yep.
and let this, well, the lotus within you start
Yeah,
to bloom,
Yeah.
right?
for sure.
So
Yeah.
we're all a sleeping lotus when we start off.
Yeah.
And that was one of the main images that my guides had me focus on in the beginning, when I was going through my journey. It's to focus on the lotus. And I didn't understand it at first until I started to get the images and all. And then the conversation started, and I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
see what you're doing here.
Mhm.
Now I just have to get out of my way and allow myself to be guided and stop thinking that I'm controlling all of this, because I'm not. And
Mhm.
letting go, that's another problem that, sometimes we need to deal with. So that's for another show. But anyway,
I know.
yeah, we could just keep going on and on and on.
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
lot there.
There
yeah,
is a lot.
Yeah,
There
there's
is
a
a
lot.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah.
Well, from the journey of traveling from New Jersey down to South America and on to your other travels, to then talking of the journey of the soul and how we've kind of all gone through that, how you guys are doing that as a couple has been just an enjoyable conversation. I can't wait to have you guys back at another time and to follow your journeys on, you have it on YouTube, right?
Yes, I do. Well, we do.
Yeah.
And how can they find you? What's your
So
name?
the channel is Moore, as in our last name, Moore, to explore travel. So all together, when you type on YouTube, you'll find us. More to explore travel. And if it helps, the visual, the our profile picture is us in front of our old house, holding a sign saying that we're homeless. So
We're lucky there for
these
you.
are
Which I love.
lucky.
It was such a good picture to see. We were all so happy for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's
Perfect.
been a fun journey for sure.
Yeah,
And thank you for having us.
yeah.
It's
Thank
been
Y-
you.
such a
Oh,
fun
Yeah.
conversation. So good to see your faces and catch up a little bit. We could be here for days talking.
days. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like hours go by, you're like, oh man, wow,
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I think the universe speaking to us and saying,
Yep.
you're on track. Keep
Yep,
going.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
keep
Yeah.
because
trusting that.
if not becomes kind of like rigid and
Yeah.
forceful, and it's not meant to be, right?
Yep. And this is
Yeah.
where we're meant to be right now. But I'm so happy to see both of you. I'm excited. I sending you so much love and blessings on your journey. I know that we'll of course stay in touch as we have been, but really looking forward to having you back on and letting us know, like, what happened now, like, what's been going on, so
Which country? We don't
yeah,
know
where,
yet.
where do you
Yeah.
decide to end
Yeah.
up now?
Right.
So this is great, but I love you both so much.
Love you too.
care.
I love both you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, like you said, there's not much celebrating over there during the holiday season, but I'm extending my holiday wishes to both of you because
thank you so much.
you're still from
Happy
the United States. So. But anyway, love you both. Take care, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, love you too.
right.
Thank you guys.
Love you.
Make sure to hit the like button and follow the station, and we will be back for another episode of the Sleeping Lotus podcast. Thank you again for tuning in. Bye.